The arrest of Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu now seems to have revived the bitter political rivalry between the ruling Jubilee party and the opposition NASA. While the opposition has opposed the arrest of DCJ, those in the Jubilee side seem to be comfortable with the way the Director of Public Prosecutions is handling corruption matters. Our senior political affairs reporter Chris Tairu interviewed ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna on the latest stand in the fight against graft.
The ODM Secretary General yesterday sent a statement where he had reservations in regards to the arrest and the arraigning in court of the Deputy Chief Justice. Well, Edwin Sifuna, welcome to KTN News. Yesterday you had your reservations. Kindly try to explain to us why these reservations and why now, noting that initially you as a party had already supported the fight against graft.
Well, I must reiterate that even as we speak, we as a party still support the war against corruption and impunity. It is something that we have been singing and saying all this time. But we have, even in the statement that we issued yesterday, we made it clear that we are not against the prosecution, or that indeed we still support the efforts by the DPP to end impunity in this country. What we cautioned was that in the historical context of a country and where it is that we have come from, it is less than 11 months, Thairu, when we were embroiled in this dispute regarding the presidential election. And there were certain pronouncements that were made by the then Jubilee candidate, Uhuru Kenyatta, that once the election matters were done with, that there would be a revisit of the judiciary, because essentially they were very unhappy with the decision of the Supreme Court to annul the August 8th elections.
Don't you think that this whole scenario is now taking the political dimension, noting that most of the lawyers who are now in defense of the DCJ are from the NASA and actually participated in the NASA presidential petition?
First of all, I always protest this moniker that attaches to lawyers, that these are NASA lawyers or these are ODM lawyers. First of all, you must know that before even your ordinary ODM member, they have a very strong sense of right and wrong, which is why many of these top legal minds are also members of ODM. But that does not mean that they are ODM lawyers, as people like to call them, or NASA lawyers. These are the top legal minds in the country, and that essentially when there is a matter of great controversy, you will always see the best brains battling it out in the courts.
Do you think that it leaves a room for those who are speculating that maybe the DCJ might be or might have been linked to some of the lawyers during that presidential petition?
First of all, that is absolute nonsense, but we cannot stop speculation. I mean, as a person, I cannot stand here and not say people should not speculate. We can also not fault perception, because perception is a very subjective thing. If it is viewed in that light, there is really nothing that we can do. But the truth of the matter is this: these are top legal brains that should be available to every person who would like to have legal representation. And in law, there is a rule called the cap branc rule, that if you are approached as a lawyer to represent somebody in court, you really do not have an option unless there are compelling reasons for you not to represent that person. If that person believes that you are the best representation that they can get in the circumstances, then you have a responsibility and a duty as a lawyer to give it your best.